I'd love for you to kind of tell that story about how you're using AI. Walk us through it.
Family was always in the trades. My grandpa and my dad had a roofing business, and North Shore Masonry was kind of a side project that my dad and I reconnected just a couple years ago. So it started with the level 10 app. We do EOS level 10 meetings for our leadership, and we were staring at an Excel sheet, just a long tab history of our company records. And so I set out to make a cool app that would make it fun, and I did that in like 2 to 3 days.
When you told them this, did they think you were batshit crazy?
They still do. That's part of it.
And just to be clear, no background in coding.
Totally. No technology background at all.
Hi, I'm Todd, and I've spent the last decade building software for the trades. I'm talking HVAC, plumbing, electrical, landscaping, and every home service business in between. For my entire career, building software for the trades meant waiting for Silicon Valley to notice you. But that wait is over. Founders on the trades are building their own tools now, and they're doing it better than any outsider could. This show is where I spotlight them. Welcome to Blue Collar Builders. Let's get into it.
All right, Zach, appreciate you taking the time. I know we spoke a little bit before this about North Shore Masonry and kind of what you're working on, but let's take a step back. If you can tell folks a little bit about North Shore Masonry and your background, and I think roofing and your family's background. Let's start there before we go into all the AI stuff.
Sure. Thanks for having me, Todd. Family was always in the trades. My grandpa and my dad had a roofing business. My grandpa and my aunt ran the residential side. My dad did the commercial side. So that was where I worked all growing up in summers and, pulling weeds in the back lot. They're still going today, O'Hara's Sun Roofing. And North Shore Masonry was actually one of the companies that we used to sub to when our parapet walls would be in need of repair. So this was kind of a side project for a long time that my dad and I reconnected just a couple years ago, said, hey, let's put our heads down and pour some focus into this opportunity because we saw the trades blowing up in the next few years. So 2 years later, that's where we're at. My dad and I taking the city of Chicago, Milwaukee, Indianapolis, and Dallas by storm via masonry and concrete.
And I think you don't have to tell us exactly how big, but the roofing business that your family had or still has is very big.
They do 9 figures a year. They're doing all the Walmarts and Targets and very large corporate and commercial accounts. It's awesome.
Yeah, you got to give credit where credit is due there. And I think you were telling me the masonry business was kind of the side thing, and then you started to get involved, and it sounds like almost doubled or tripled at this point.
I mean, some say it's all me. I'm more humble than that, but no, but we have a really great team. We have like 11 people on our team, and then a lot of subcontracting. That's our model. So long-term sub relationships and a really great internal team who's all excellent at communication, I think, is a major key in the trades.
And just to be clear, no background in coding, no background in AI. You've been in different blue-collar businesses or the trades your whole life, it sounds like. I think that's what we did.
Totally. No technology background at all.
But from our discussion, you've now built some incredible things. I'd love for you to kind of talk a little bit about the OpenClaude stuff you've done. No brand names, no software names. So just talk more generally about what you've done. And like the story about your dad was super inspiring. I think a lot of people like bang their heads because they don't want to get started. And once you're getting started, it's easy to give up. So I'd love for you to kind of tell that story about how you're using AI, OpenClaude, kind of walk us through it.
Yeah, sure. So I think it kind of started 5 months ago. I had been using ChatGPT Pro for many years, but finally got into Claude. And 5 months ago, Claude just started, changing my mindset around the systems we could build, the softwares internally, and how we could either speed things up or organize things. We were living a lot in Excel sheets and,
When you say Claude changed your mind, did you like watch a video? Like how did you, what clicked? Did you like watch something? Were you on like Twitter? Like, that's not for everyone. How did that happen?
It's so tough to know. It must have been something on Twitter I saw, and maybe some of the people just like, hey, Claude is different. Like, this isn't the same thing. It doesn't create funny images or just rewrite your emails, which was most of what, we were using it for, or formalizing scopes. And so I just started talking to it and actually asking it more what it could do for me and what strategies it might have. and I just found the conversation with it so different. So I drank the Kool-Aid. I'm still drinking it, but Claude is definitely a different experience to me because it just builds out the code and the systems that I would have never known how to do. So it
Okay.
started with a level 10 app. We do EOS level 10 meetings for our leadership. And we were staring at an Excel sheet and, just a long tab history of our company, records. And so I set out to make a cool app that would make it fun and easier to organize and something you'd want to be working on throughout the weeks. And I did that in like 2 or 3 days. And I was just so excited to show my wife and my dad. And then he started talking to Claude, and that's when OpenClaude came out. So this must have
And how
been,
did you get? So your dad said was talking to, and if you don't mind me asking, how old is your dad?
he's 58. Yeah.
Okay.
He's
Yeah.
he's in the 0.1% of like AI forward in his
But is he tech
generation.
savvy? Let's just like take a sec. Like, does he, um, like, is he have tech savvy tendencies, or is this totally a new thing?
There's two sides to him. One is he's been white labeling Go High Level for 8 years, so he was ahead of that curve. The other side is he still types with two fingers.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
let
The
that
multi.
illustrate, but
Yeah. Yeah.
he's definitely open-minded and always trying to experiment with new tools. But he's basically lived in Google Drive and Zoom, for the last 10 years. So this was definitely new for him,
Yep.
technology wise. But OpenClaw, when it first came out, I think as we all know, you were banging your head, you were in the terminal, copy pasting a million things, trying to fix things. And that was
Had you been
something.
to terminal before?
Never once opened a terminal. I couldn't even
Okay.
find it on my Mac. It's not one of the applications. You got to
Yeah.
search for it in like system utility. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I was that green to it. I was like almost nervous typing in. I didn't want to like break something on my computers to that point.
Yeah. All your
But
passwords are now everywhere.
yeah, my whole life
Yeah.
is probably in Claude's
Yeah.
hands. But yeah, no. So we really dove into the OpenClaw thing and immediately saw some amazing use cases within just our own like leadership of the company. Couple quick examples, like he can text a picture of a business card, it goes researches the top 3 in the company, starts a cold email campaign, a nurture sequence, and gives us some nice outreach to property management companies. Another
Yep.
one is we're both YouTube junkies and we don't have time to watch all these videos that the algorithm is serving us, and we definitely want to. So we have a YouTube Intel channel we share where we send videos, it pulls the transcript, and it grades it as far as high, medium, low priority in regards to North Shore. And then at the end of it, it gives us 3 action steps so that we're actually doing something with it. And then we'll answer like skip 1 and 2. Yes, let's do 3. And then it gets
Yeah.
added to a master sheet of like to-dos that we want to do. So we basically made what's typically you watch 5 YouTube videos, you think of these great ideas, and then you don't do anything. That's like most of us. We're like, how do we actually get more use out of it? So that was one little cool system we started building. Then I was trying to get like everyone on my team to keep using AI more, and it was tougher and tougher to do so because like GPT wasn't as capable. I think as we talked earlier, a lot of CRMs aren't AI friendly, so we weren't
Yep.
able to do much as far as their work functions. But then giving them Mason, I called him, he was our open claw, and showing them what he can do to go out and build things for them, or cold outreach, or just help with their sales follow-up.
When you told them this, did they think you were batshit crazy, or are they
They still
also?
do. They still do.
Okay.
That's part of it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Of course. So they have
I
a
just
Mason OpenClaw that I assume they can talk to, and that does tasks for them within CR. Like, what are the tasks that it does?
well, now it's doing everything. So it's been so well trained against their API that now it can truly do anything. So it's teeing up bid requests that we send out to vendors. It's sending estimates. It's sending personalized follow-ups. It's creating jobs like, hey, I just generated this one, build me this out.
Yep.
And it's helping with expertise in our craft. Like, hey, here's a picture of this wall. I'm not exactly sure what to do. What would be your suggestion? We're in Chicago in this area. Oh, that's a historic building. We're actually going to need typo mortar. Recommend to the client that the lintel need. It's like, okay, this is a little bit further than just rewriting your email or sounding professional. This is helping us with education in the masonry space, and it
Yep.
has no business doing that. So I think a lot of
Does
what's
your team now value it like have they seen the light? Have they been like, "Holy like, I can't live without this now?" Like, are
totally,
they
totally. I have lots of texts of them like, "Hey, I just bust through a bunch of tasks. Mason's awesome." What really changed the game was actually a couple weeks ago. Um, our coordinator, God bless her, Courtney is the best. We were having her hand type these things into JobTread as she's on the phone. What's your name? Todd Saunders. Okay, your address. And and then after that, she'd have to go type it in to go high level. We hadn't built the systems even to zap that over. So now she gets off a call. She sends the link to the go high level conversation and says, "Hey, this one's Jace at 2 to 3 p.m. on Thursday." Mason goes in, pulls the transcript, all the details, all the scope details, builds out her estimate, sets the task, puts a to do for Jace. So, like, honestly, each call saving 8 to 10 minutes of typing.
Yes.
So, that's been a real game changer that I think, because instantly she was setting, 1.5 times the number of leads that she was previously. And that
Yeah,
was just another tool we gave her that we hadn't assembled yet. So now we're just looking in all the departments. How do we speed everyone up? What are little tools or skills, for Mason that we can build out? And they have fun with it. I like watching them talk to Mason because he is a bit personalized. I made a sweet logo. He looks like Iron Man with our, N logo on it. So
yeah,
it does feel like you're talking to someone in a way. That's part of the
yeah.
open claw magic too. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Let me ask you some rapid fire questions here. A lot of people think like getting over the hump is hard, which it is. Like I think it totally is. Like you said, you and your dad had a competition to see who could get live. I mean, what was it like you the first time getting live on OpenClaw or Claude Code or any of this stuff? And what was it like for your dad? And what is your advice to others to get over that hump? 'Cause I think that's the hardest part.
Well, for one, I think now with OpenClaw, Manus, Hermes Agent, you see all these. This is where everything's going. So just get used to it, dive in, try something. It doesn't have to be OpenClaw. I also think the setup now compared to 3 months ago is like it's
Yeah,
butter.
yeah,
So I don't think people will hit the same concussions that we did. But another side to it is I think the big revelation I've been having is to ask AI more about what it could do for me instead of, hey, do this for me. So a lot of times, like you get stuck because you're telling it to do something and it keeps saying, I can't do that. Instead of saying, hey, here's my goal. I'd like to end up doing this. What are the best systems or things you can set up for me? Pitch me on 3 ideas. And
yeah.
then being the tastemaker for its ideas. And that has gotten me past so many roadblocks.
The
Just being
Tastemaker.
humble enough to ask for help.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah. The
struggling.
best
I don't
way
know what
to
to
use
do.
AI is to have AI help you with AI, and until you can like figure that out, which is really hard to comprehend, right? It's like, well, what do you mean you don't have like you ask AI to do AI? That's how you do AI. It's very confusing, right? But I like the Tastemaker. How, all these ideas, like, how are you coming up with all these different ideas? Are you just like using AI to come up with ideas? Are you constantly thinking about it? Like, is your team bringing up ideas? Like, how are you coming up with all these different new workflows and stuff?
It just to me, it's the pain of the company. So like I come to one example of we'd have cash flow meetings on one Excel sheet. We'd have a backlog list of all our jobs on another Excel. We'd have the bank login, we'd have the job tread, and then we'd have go high level. I brought all 5 of those into a software that my dad and I can log into and have a command center to where with one app, we can now view everything. Our meetings are more productive, quicker. We're keeping live KPIs now instead of just like having to manually fill it in each week. So it's like, it was a pain to keep clicking on different tabs and filling out things. So I solved that. It's a pain
Yep.
for Courtney to have to manually type in estimates. Let's solve that. It's a pain for my salesman to have to write bid requests at the end of a day, 6:30 p.m. You're
Yeah.
tired as a dog, and I'll do it in the morning and then it doesn't happen. I've been there. So let's make that easier. Let's have Mason do that. So I'm looking for like the pain. What can we, a lot of the things we ask is like, what can we automate? What are the things that are taking up more of your time?
Yeah, I
So
mean,
it's
you have the cool thing here is like you have the domain expertise, you have that last 10% understanding, and like I think Silicon Valley used to be like, I'm a software company, I tell you what I found your pain is and I build you thing. We're at this like blue collar builder era of like, no, I have pain and I know the pain better than anyone, and I solve my own pain by doing X, right? Like that's what's so cool about where we're at now. And like your domain expertise, no other software company could, no one could pretend to even know what you know about your unique business and workflows and the industries you're in and all of that. And you have the pain. It's much easier to build it when you have the pain. You know exactly what you want, custom to your needs.
100%. I think that's where it's going, is just like describing what you need and what you're struggling with and getting a custom build around it. It's not going to be the Oracles and the HubSpots, and I hate to call out names, but just like
no name, but yes, the custom bespoke software per each industry.
beat me out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. Well, listen, I appreciate you telling your story, and it's inspirational. And I think a lot of people are afraid to go over the hurdle, think they need to do all this stuff or need a consultant. Like, you just got to dive in. So appreciate you telling the story about you and your dad, and I'm excited to kind of follow and see where you guys